Okay, guys. Good afternoon, everybody. Obviously, great opportunity this Saturday to play Utah at home. Another noon kickoff. So hopefully we'll play better than we did last week. So always the goal to continue to improve, practicing well. Obviously, just based upon some injuries or whatnot, we're kind of mixing and matching at practice. But, my hope and my goal would be that the majority of our team is ready to play for Saturday. Getting to the Saturday is the key, obviously, for where we are right now. But hopefully it's senior night, a senior day. Hopefully we'll have our best crowd on a day game that we can have. I know it's going to be beautiful weather. Hopefully everyone will come out. It's Military Appreciation Day, so obviously works out considering today is Veterans Day. So gratitude to all of our veterans out there. And then also to be able to have a Military Appreciation Day on Saturday will hopefully continue to boost the crowd. We would love to have as many as humanly possible, as you guys know. Excited to watch our guys compete, see how they translate defensively from how we played the last game to how we're going to play this game. The last three games we've had, when you start looking at it, you're talking about a 5-point game against Washington when you're up 13-0 at halftime. You're talking about a 7-point game against USC, onside kicking with 1:50 left. And then, obviously, a 7-point game the other way this week with Cal. So I like the way our team's playing, but we also know we got a very, very good Utah team who's playing really good football right now coming in, who are coming off of an enormous win on Friday night. So we got our challenge ahead of us, and looking forward to it.
Michael, in light of Cal's situation with all of their positive tests for COVID, did you have to do anything, any additional testing, vetting of the team or anything of that nature?
No, we have not. We have a very healthy team. As we talked about in the spring and summer, the most important thing for our team was going to be able to try to be the most vaccinated team in the country. Every member of our staff, every member of our team, every person that works in this building, student or employee, are vaccinated. And we're fortunate enough that we've been able to not have that breakthrough situation that they had at Cal.
Can you talk about how Will looked at practice this week, how he's feeling?
Will looked good at practice, and he's feeling good. We gotta get to Saturday. He's obviously dealing with some issues that from the game last week, but I'm hopeful that he'll be good to go for Saturday's game.
In an emergency situation like what happened last week, do you expect like a similar plan where it's Jamari and maybe Luke, or if there's an emergency situation, is it going to look similar to what was with Cal?
Alec, we are already in an emergency situation. We are where we are, right? Our players are our players, our roster's the roster. Whoever can take a snap will take a snap. We as you guys know, we don't have we have two quarterbacks that will dress for the game. Right, Will and Luke. And then we have a bunch of wide receivers that can dress and running backs that can dress, and we'll have to figure that out if something occurs like similar to last week, or we've got 3 more weeks of football to play. This is the most unique year that I've ever had when it comes to, obviously, personnel, especially at that position.
Given that you're already in this emergency situation, is there anything any adjustments you make as far as scheme, protections, instructions for Will? Don't do this, don't protect yourself, etc.
Yeah, we ran the ball 52 times last week. We obviously, I think Wiley had 8 snaps. Jamari Joyner had 8 snaps at quarterback. I think it was Luke Ashworth had 1. Will had his. There were other opportunities for some other guys. I think that we are trying everything known to man, to be able to protect ourselves, move the football. Open and drive. We're down first and goal on the 7. We had a couple of wide open guys during that drive that we didn't hit. We scrambled, really don't need to scramble when you have Alex Lyons running right down the field on the second play of the game. you could throw it to Alex and then avoid 2 hits. And, those are some of the points and conversations that I'm having with Will that, if you stay with your reads, you might have a better chance to avoid hits, stay upright, and then get the ball out of your hands rather than, although you've run the ball for 70 yards and ran the ball great against SC, you probably could also avoid some hits by just getting the ball out to the receiver, to the running back, find your check downs. Protection-wise, sometimes sacks are just based upon, not seeing the read at the right time. Maybe it's someone steps the wrong way. Maybe it's someone loses. You can't really predict those. But what I'd love for him to do is try to do the best he can to slide and really protect himself based, of course, on the situation that we're in.
How is Utah different from Oregon?
Utah different from Oregon. Schematically, they're different in regards to how they run the football. They both have an emphasis on running and an emphasis on toughness. I would say Utah's scheme is more under center, more of a zone scheme, more NFL pro style system offensively. Oregon's system is more out of shotgun, more of a run pass option system. Great talent, great skill, but different in terms of necessarily the way they run the football. Both teams throw the ball well. Defensively, Utah has had the same defensive coordinator, I think since 2008. Coach Whittingham has been there the whole time, who was a defensive coordinator. Their program is built upon their defense. Oregon is different in that regard. They're on a new defensive coordinator this year.
Can you talk about the military uniforms you guys are going to wear this week? Obviously coming from the Patriots. The Belichick family was so close to the Naval Academy. This is a military town with the Air Force Base and the Army Base. Is there a message you want to share with the players?
Well, I think it's very clear that, Military Appreciation Day means a ton to, the city of Tucson, and really to the country. We think it's a great opportunity to be able to have some camo involved in their uniforms for this game. It's unique because it's also senior day, so it's kind of one of those weird deals about wearing a different uniform on your final game at home. But for our players and for our team, there's so many people that have family members that are involved in the military in some way, shape, or form. My grandfather was a colonel in the Air Force. I think that we all can find family members that have been involved in military and certainly want to always show our appreciation to them.
Michael?
So you said the other day that it was going to be kind of a meritocracy at running back. How do you see the rotation playing out the rest of the season? Is it kind of a hot hand situation?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't put anything other than today's practice and the game on Saturday. I have no idea how it'll play out for Washington State or the game after that. But I would say that in this situation, right now, Stevie and Wiley and Drake will kind of will all get, and Jalen, all 4 of them will get in. It's just a matter of how much and how many plays and in what plays. But I believe we'll start Rocker again this week. And then I think if you look at it, Wiley had the most amount of plays, but went in second.
Justin?
If Jim Mora were to ask you advice for taking over a program at rock bottom, what would you tell him?
Jim Mora doesn't ask me for advice. I ask Jim Mora for advice. But I am so excited for him. I talked to him this morning, actually. And just awesome that he got this opportunity and to get back into coaching. He's such a great football coach, a better person than that. He is. So I think he knows exactly what he's going to do. You look at what he did at UCLA. You look at the amount of wins he had. 3 10-win seasons. They only had 9 in their 100 years of football. So he's going to be just fine, and he's going to do it great.
With 31 players walking, how long is that whole ceremony going to take, and is that going to affect anything as far as your pregame?
Yeah, Brian, it's going to be 23 is going to be the number. We have about 8 guys that have already walked at either previous schools or might have walked already or their families can't make it. So we're going to leave the field about 3 minutes earlier than traditional. And then we'll be able to, each senior will be able to have 4 people on the field due to COVID protocols. We can't have more than that. They'll be out at the far end zone, and we'll be able to get all 22 or 23 of those guys honored and be able to move forward. Some of those guys might be returning next year that are walking still, but we're going to give most of those guys the opportunity to do so.
Michael?
Traden Stooks started this past week at cornerback. What do you make of the progress that he's made this season?
He'll start again this week as well, and I think his progress has been outstanding. He and Jaden Young have both certainly earned those scholarships that we gave them prior to the start of the season. He is he's playing with great confidence for a freshman. He has great length and speed, so that's a huge advantage for a corner that plays a lot of man coverage. If you look at kind of the history of Pete Carroll corners that play a lot of one-on-ones on the perimeter, you want to get guys that have great length. He has that. He's still growing into his body. He still needs to get a lot bigger weight-wise. We've talked about that for the offseason. But I think his every snap he takes, he feels more and more that he belongs. I really would say that was kind of the best way to look at it. Guys that are young, freshmen that, arrived here as a walk-on like he and JY did. Each game you could see their confidence grows and they feel more and more comfortable.
Is Isaiah Rutherford not playing because of an injury?
Yeah, right now he's working. I don't know if he's not playing just yet. He's working through just a hip or leg issue that we just have to make sure he's healthy.
I know you've talked many times about, each game is its own thing, but have you sensed any more of a little more bounce in everybody's step, a little more, chin a little higher, that kind of thing this week after getting the win and getting it off the back?
Jay, I've said this for the weeks here that you would never know when you watch our team practice what our record was, in my opinion. And I've kind of gotten that feedback from others that have just kind of showed up to our practices. Our guys have continued to work extremely hard, determined to build for the future. I've told them all, you guys are building the foundation, and they've embraced that. Do I feel like the last 3 weeks, each day they are believing more and more? Yeah, I do believe that. I believe that really, Washington week, SC week, last week, there was just a great belief that, this is just normal football, and one of the 2 teams are going to win and one of the 2 teams are going to lose. And it was no longer about, how many have we lost before. Now I just feel like we're at that point that we're just going to go out every week and play normal football.
Got time for a couple more? Michael?
How important has it been that the senior class has bought into what you've been trying to preach?
Yeah, it's been, I would probably say the most important thing that's happened to this program since I've been here. That those guys that have been around, potentially, some of them 3 head coaches, some of them 6 coordinators, some of them 6 position coaches, and for the way that they've embraced what all of us have asked them to do, the commitment we've asked from them, the way we've asked them to lead and trust us, I would say has been the most important thing that has happened to our program, because the young guys kind of just will do what's being the seniors do. And if the seniors are doing it and the seniors are believing it and buying into it and really wanting to be a part of it, good things are coming.
Finish up, Michael.
When you look at Utah's consistency, their style of play, is that a program you can kind of point to as a model for what you might like to become?
Yeah, 1,000%. I would say that they are the model for in the Pac-12 for us, for what we would like to look like. Their consistency, Coach Whittingham, who I know very little, but I've respected from afar. Played him in 2015 at Michigan, played him in 2017 at UCLA. They're just tough. They're tough. They're physical. They know exactly what they want to look like. Their defense looks a certain way. They recruit to that. You could see they kind of have the same type of players that they just fill in. Offensively, they know exactly what they want to be. They play to that. And their consistency and the way they've been able to have really keep their coaches together, keep their program together is something that we model.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys. See you Saturday.